Today we are making Crock Pot Chicken Alfredo Casserole. It is so good and easy to make in your favorite crock pot. My name is Christina. I'm with eatingonadime.com. Do not forget, you can always get the link in the recipe in the description below. Today we are making one of our favorite casseroles in a crock pot. If you haven't made a casserole in a crock pot yet, you are missing out. It is so easy. It's perfect for when it's hot outside because it doesn't heat up your kitchen. And like all of our recipes, the entire family loves it. Next, we are going to talk about cheese. You cannot have a casserole without gooey, delicious cheese. And to make sure that it's melted and perfect every time, we recommend shredding your own from fresh. In this recipe, you need approximately 3 cups shredded mozzarella cheese. It just takes a couple of minutes to shred your own, but it adds a ton in flavor. So do not skip this step. I promise it's going to be worth it in the end. Okay, just make sure that you have about 3 cups to layer. I always like to delegate this job to a kitchen helper. So if you have a child that loves to help in the kitchen and can use a shredder, get them involved. It's going to help you and they'll have fun too. Now it's time to make the sauce. We are using Jar Alfredo sauce for this casserole recipe. You can use homemade. I'm going to put a link in the description below for our homemade Alfredo sauce. It's so good. In this recipe, you need about 2 jars, which is about 30 ounces total. These jars are about 15 ounces each. And it is a nice lazy day recipe, so that's why we're using store-bought, but you definitely use your preference. I'm gonna add the sauce to a mixing bowl. Add 1 cup of water. Garlic. We are using pre-minced garlic, another lazy day hack. It tastes amazing, has great flavors, but you don't have to mince your own garlic. About a tablespoon of that minced garlic. Now let's add some salt and pepper. A teaspoon of each works great. And you want to stir to combine all these ingredients together because we're going to put this sauce layered in the crock pot, and you want to make sure you get all the flavors in each layer. Next, add in your pasta. I am using 16 ounces penne pasta for this recipe. Now this step is very important. You want all the uncooked pasta to be completely coated in the sauce. This is going to make sure it cooks evenly in the crock pot and doesn't get too dried out or too gummy. I'm using penne pasta, but you can use any type of good hearty pasta. So when I say hearty pasta, I mean one that's not going to easily fall apart when it cooks. Rigatoni would work great, or a ziti pasta would work well in this recipe. After your crock pot is sprayed and ready to go, we are going to layer these ingredients in it just like you would in a baking dish for a casserole. So first, take half of your pasta / sauce mixture and just layer it right into the crock pot. Just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact. It's heavy. And just make sure the pasta is spread out into an even layer. So just make sure that pasta is as even as possible, and make sure it's covered in the sauce as we already talked about, just so it cooks evenly. Then layer with half of your cooked shredded chicken on top. So it's half of the pasta, half of the cooked shredded chicken, and then I'm gonna do a third of the shredded mozzarella cheese. So half, a third. Easy, easy. Then we're also going to use a grated Parmesan cheese. We recommend that you use the grated because it melts more evenly. The recipe calls for 1/4 of a cup, and go ahead and sprinkle about half of that on top of those layers you just made in your crock pot. Go ahead and repeat those layers one more time in the crock pot, and this time you get to use up all the ingredients, so it's a little easier. So half of the pasta, or the remaining, I guess, of the pasta sauce mixture. Remaining of the chicken. Then top with about a third more of the mozzarella cheese. So about another cup of the shredded mozzarella cheese. It's already looking good. And then top with the remaining Parmesan cheese, the grated. Just sprinkle evenly over the top. Make sure you save about a cup of the shredded mozzarella cheese. We're going to put that on top more at the end to give it a nice, chewy, delicious topping. So don't use all that cheese in your casserole. All right, we have our layers ready. Now you want to cover it, and we're going to cook this on low. Make sure you don't want to be on high, or that pasta is going to get dried out. And it's going to take about 2.5 to 3 hours until that pasta is cooked through and tender. Our most common question we get on this recipe is, why in the world are you cooking it in the crock pot? Great question, friend. So you can make this in the oven. We've done it before. It works great, but you do have to pre-boil the pasta first till it's about al dente, and then you want to assemble it and bake it in the oven. So making it in the crock pot, you save that step. You don't have to pre-make the pasta. We don't have to get another dish dirty, and it's awesome. Also, we love doing it in the crock pot for the warmer months, and it doesn't heat up our kitchen like the oven would. So we can enjoy delicious casseroles even in the summer months and not have to worry about getting too hot. So you want to watch it closely. I find the best way to know when it's done is just to taste test some of the noodles and see if it's at the tendency, or not the tendency, but the texture that you like. If it's still tasting a little gummy, it needs to cook longer. So just let it continue to cook. After it's done and it's the tenderness you like, let's go ahead and top it with that leftover shredded cheese. This should be about a cup left over on your shredded mozzarella cheese, and it's just going to give it that nice, delicious casserole topping. Go ahead and keep your crock pot on low, and it should just take 5-6 minutes to melt this, and then it's ready to serve to your family. Once the top cheese is all melted, it's ready to serve and enjoy. Look at that. Perfect every single time. So you can top it with fresh parsley if you would like, or fresh grated Parmesan cheese. It's so good. It has that nice baked casserole flavor, but it's made completely in the crock pot. I know you guys are going to love it. All right, do not forget, we have linked this recipe in the description below, so check it out so you can get all of our tips, tricks to make this perfect every single time. Do not forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our easy crock-pot family-friendly recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today in my sister's kitchen, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, friends.